Our fruit trees this year are really producing abundantly, at least some of ours here on campus are. I've noticed persimmons, I have one at home that's really heavy with fruit. Our apples and some of our pears are in this particular one. This is a Dolgo crab apple, and you can see it's really heavy with fruit this year. And you can see how the wind is kind of blowing the branches around. And so what we're going to talk about today is thinning fruit for the health of the tree and for fruit quality. So a couple of things we want to think about when we're thinning fruit is, first of all, the timing of it. We want to wait till after that initial fruit drop. The plants, a lot of times when they're heavy with fruit, will go through a period sometime in May and June where they'll drop their fruit or drop some of their fruit on their own. And that's after that period is done, which we've ended here. We have some fruit here on the ground, so the trees should be through that. We can come in now and start looking at thinning out some of the fruit. So the reason we want to do that is to, again, the health of the tree. We don't want to have any broken branches, and you can see this is really weighing this down. It'll also help improve the fruit quality, give us a little bit better fruit. And it'll give us away from that biennial fruit set that sometimes people will call us in with questions about, you know, I had a lot of fruit one year and I don't have any fruit this year. And that's what's going on, is the tree has used a lot of its stored carbohydrates and in 1 year of fruit set, so it's using the next year to kind of build it back up. So by removing some of this fruit will help the tree get away from that, you know, heavy 1 year, not much the next. So when doing apples and crab apples and pears, they set their fruit on these spurs or buds. And so there's somewhere between, well, on some of these there's more than 3, but it's going to be 2 to 4 fruit per spur. And so we're going to want to take it down to, you know, 1 or 2 fruit per spur. And with a bigger apple, you're going to want to look at spacing them somewhere maybe 6 inches apart, so that way, again, as the fruit get large, they're not putting too much weight on the branches. Apricots and peaches and plums, maybe looking at 3 to 5 inches apart when you're thinning the fruit on those trees. So we'll come through, and you can do this with your hand by pulling the fruit off. I like to use the pruners just so I'm making nice cuts and I'm not tearing anything off. If you have high fruit, sometimes you can use, I'll use like a pole saw and wrap some foam or tape around the end to help kind of knock out the high fruit. So that way I'm not getting up on a ladder. We don't want to climb this. Things to think about from a safety standpoint: if you are using pruners, you might make sure you have gloves on. Pruners are sharp and sometimes you can't see what you're doing in there. Safety glasses is something you might want to consider as well, to make sure you don't, because you're going to be working in close proximity to the tree. So right now is a good time to think about thinning your fruit on your tree. Why don't you go out and take a look at your trees.